Folks, I am with Bo Keister. He is the host and co-producer of Hillbilly Horror Show, which is now into its 4th iteration, right?
That's right. 4 volumes out there and running amok.
And I want, first of all, everyone, I want you to go get this man's show. Not just because Rachel is so hot, but, which is really, I think, a great reason.
Oh, that's the sole reason I watch it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, guilty. So,
might as well own it, right?
I own it, definitely. Absolutely. Having said that, it is absolutely engaging and funny, and it's got a great brand presence. But I'm going to stop talking as much because my question is, tell my viewers how Hillbilly Horror Show started.
In 2012, I did a film called House of Good and Evil, which was written and produced by my partner, Blue DeGoye. And after we had gotten done filming, he and I had stayed in touch, and I had done a lot of, helping out promoting House of Good and Evil and everything. And we kept bouncing ideas back and forth over Facebook of, well, what project could we do next, because we wanted to continue to work together. And so in December of 2013, he hits me up and he says, I've got an idea for a show. He said, we know all these horror filmmakers with all these great short films out there winning awards and everything else. Why don't we kind of revive the horror host genre and, bring some of these films to, to a bigger audience? And we looked at it and said, okay, well, what kind of theme, what kind of concept can we put together here? And, of course, me being Southern and having a thick Southern accent and everything else that I can crank up to, in the words of Spinal Tap, crank up to 11. It just seemed like the hillbilly thing would work. This one goes to 11. So, God, I love that movie. Total child of the 80s. What can I do?
Same here.
But yeah, we just kind of fleshed it out, and first week of February that year, we were shooting volumes 1 and 2, and we cranked out 2 volumes in one weekend.
Wow. And
started promoting, started releasing, and now we're up to 4 volumes. Volume 4 is actually our biggest and our best and our baddest, and it's now out on Google Play, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on YouTube Movie Rentals, and it'll be releasing December 8th on iTunes and Vudu.
Tell my viewers about the cast. Who are the stars?
Of course you got me running around. I'm the head hillbilly, I guess. And then we decided, a friend of ours, Scott Geider, Scott is well known within the horror world. He's known as Gruesome Herzog, the voice of horror. And Scott has this very deep, resonating, distinct voice. It's just a really amazing voice, and people just kind of gravitate to him vocally.
Yeah, he's kind of
and so we decided to turn him into a mumbling idiot. We turned Cephas into a mumbling idiot, and Scott has a blast with it. He's a lot of fun. And then Rachel, I was tasked with casting Lulu, and I had put it out on all the major casting sites, Actors Access and what have you, and we just weren't getting any submissions that were blowing me away. They might have the look, but they didn't have the acting chops, or they might have the chops, but they weren't exactly, fitting what we wanted visually. And so I reached out, since we film up above Baltimore, I wanted to try to stay somewhere close by in the East Coast, and so I reached out to an agent friend of mine in Richmond, Virginia, and I said, do you have anybody regionally that fits this description? And she said, I can only think of one. And she sent me a couple of pictures of Rachel in a bikini, and I said, yeah, can we have her audition like 10 minutes ago, please? And so anyway, she sent Rachel an email, and that evening I got her audition tape, and it was a done deal. I said, book that. I mean, it was a no-brainer, and I feel as though I'm a smarter man for that decision. So,
how did you know, off camera? I'll explain this from a different perspective. We were talking about both of us being childs of the '80s, and you mentioned
yes,
Joe Bob Briggs, Tales of the Crypts. I go all the way back to Creature Feature.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So tell my viewers what they can expect with Hillbilly Horror Show. Having said that, particularly those who you go back that far, and actually with digital media you can go back that far. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, originally when Blue pitched it to me, it was from the get-go pitched to me as Hee Haw meets Tales from the Crypt. And, I mean, I grew up on both those shows. I mean, now granted, I mean, we're not running around like the Crypt Keeper, but there, you know, there were always those transitions when you were coming out of one featurette in Tales from the Crypt, and the dialogue of the Crypt Keeper, you know, always made some sort of commentary on either what you just watched or what you were getting ready to watch.
Right.
So we wanted to include that as part of the wraparound story that's happening with our hillbilly family. So, you know, that was a big influence there. And then we also wanted to keep that light kind of silly humor that Hee Haw had.
Is that come out? There was a scene I saw where these two characters are next to this guy in a tub with blood.
Yeah.
And could you talk more about that? I don't want to say it incorrectly. I want the man who was behind it to tell my viewers about it.
Well, the thing is that's actually, if I'm remembering exactly correct, that is one of the short films, Foodie. Mm-hmm. Foodie's won, I think, God, I don't even know how many festivals it's won at. It's gotten into a ton.
Well, folks, you can click here for the link. See it there.
Yeah, yeah. But that film is dark and funny. And of course, I mean, I didn't make the film, so I don't know as much about it as the filmmakers obviously would. But it's just a brilliant, dark.
Kind of a take there. Oh, did I lose you? Did our video slow down? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we have a video slowdown here that I'll have to splice together. Oh, you there? Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Me neither. That was odd.
Yeah, I mean, my internet just like dropped.
Oh, mine was still going. And so we just edited around that one.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. It was we were talking about the horror scene. The film.
Well,
you were saying that even though you weren't connected with that, it was really an interesting kind of movie that I think characterizes what Hillbilly Horror Show is about.
Yeah, the big thing, you know, when you look at a movie like Foodie, I mean, some people might look at it as more of a dark comedy than they would a horror film. But that's one thing that we really wanted to do with Hillbilly Horror Show is not just go strictly horror or strictly grindhouse or, you know, stay within, you know, just a box, you know, of boundaries within horror. We wanted to expand out and get some of the peripherals of the genre as well. And so every volume has a little something for everybody in it. I mean, your gore hounds are going to enjoy it. Your people that are more into the psychological thrillers or the found footage type films, they're going to find something that they love. And then, you know, you look at a film like Rose White, which is in Volume 2. it's kind of this mystical fantasy meets reality world, kind of wrapped around this really rather sad story of two sisters. And you're going to have a wide variety. And that's what we wanted to give the audience. Because as much as we're trying to build our brand and build our audience, we're also building exposure for these filmmakers. And, if you look at, if you look at a film like Frankie and the Ant, not only has that film won almost every festival it's ever been in, which is 25 or 30 different festivals, but the female lead in that, Christine Woods, ended up playing Dawn Lerner on The Walking Dead. So obviously she's doing something right as an actor, and those are the level of performances that you're getting in some of these films. So we wanted to really kind of raise the stakes for those filmmakers and show people, hey, there's a crop of up-and-coming directors, writers, actors out there that are doing some really incredible stuff that you should be seeing, and you're not because you're not out there in the film festival circuit. So we're bringing that to life.
That begs the question, if I have a clip that's excellent to excellent, how do I get it to you? What do you want to see? How long should it be? What do I have to do to be featured on a Hillbilly Horror Show?
Well, actually, we're Blue and I are both about as accessible as two people can possibly be. First thing that I would do is go to Hillbilly Horror Show and send us a link. If you've got it on Vimeo or YouTube or wherever you have it, send us the full short film. Now, we prefer them to typically be not less than 5 minutes. And really not more than 30, just because kind of balancing all of that out with the other short films can get a little tricky in figuring out where each film is going to fit in the episode. But the best thing to do is send us a password-protected link to the full short film, and we'll take a look at it. If we pass on it, we'll let you know. And we do get. We do get some short films where they just aren't quite at the standard we want. Because we're not just looking for something that people and their buddies throw together over a weekend with a handy cam. We want top quality and films that are really going to intrigue people and make them go, wow, where did that come from?
That actually is another question, because my video drug of choice is an iPhone 6. And I shoot at 60 frames. But so is it more? And a lot of people are using iPhone 6 for making movies, right? But
yeah. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine in Mississippi has done I don't know. I know he's done at least 2 films with an iPhone, and they both turned out fantastic. They were great. It's not necessarily so much about your equipment, as long as the quality is there. As long as the quality is there, and not just that, but we look at it from all aspects. Not just from how good do the shots look, or how great is the sound quality, but what's your story? Is the acting up to snuff? You can have the most beautifully framed shot in the world, but if you've got a couple of actors in frame that don't have a damn clue what they're doing, you don't have much. Right. And so we really kind of try to focus on the project as a whole. And then another thing with us is we typically try to avoid nudity in the short films. It's not that we won't take a look at them if they have it, but a lot of platforms, it becomes more difficult to get on them if you've got a film that's got a bunch of nudity in it.
I have to say, we're talking one day after Playboy announced that they're going to release it, right?
Yeah. Well, I know our male fans just went, dude, Really? I'm no different, but people just don't realize how hard it is to get on these bigger platforms as a filmmaker to begin with. And then when you're trying to sidestep around issues like nudity in the films, it just becomes that much more difficult. And we just don't even want to, it's not that we don't want to take a look at your film, it's just that if it's too far gone, I won't name the film, but I remember we had one filmmaker send us this short. It was gory, it was scary, it was creepy, but it also included full-on female naked crotch shots. We can't go there. I mean, it's just not going to work. So, for filmmakers out there, please keep that kind of stuff in mind. But by all means, if you got a film that you feel like we ought to take a look at, that you feel like would fit what we're doing, we want to see it.
Hey, the other question: what makes great horror today? Here's why I asked, because after years, maybe decades, I watched Bride of Frankenstein very recently. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a scary movie. And I'll tell you what the scariest scene in The Bride of Frankenstein was for me. It was when he had the little, manufactured people. We're all manufactured, aren't we? In the jar.
Right.
And
yep. God, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Shuddering in a way I had never reacted before. And so I have the Blair Witch Project, which I've only watched once.
Right.
And then, so what is good horror? Is it that, and why is it that we seem to have morphed into all these different kinds of horror? From Grindhouse, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think part of it is just the filmmaker's vision. At least most people I know in the horror industry, when they go to make a film, they make what is frightening to them. And they try to kind of put their stamp on it, their fingerprint to it. And then you have some other cases where they just they're looking at it going, okay, how cheap can we make this and make a bunch of money off of it? And so you do, and that's where marketing and really genius things like that come into play. You saw that with the Blair Witch Project. I mean, that's one of the greatest marketing schemes in history. I don't care who you are, but they shot that film for what, $35,000 and made $63 million worldwide. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't care who out there thinks the film was amazing. I don't care who thinks the film sucked. It doesn't matter. They took a $35,000 film and made $63 million. That's genius. And I saw it. It didn't scare me one bit. I know other people it scared the crap out of them. So, there you go. But I think it's all in the filmmaker's taste. What story do they want to tell? What is frightening to them personally? And then that's what they tend to bring to script and screen. And I know, like for me, I will look at things, I'll look at a character I'm playing or something like that. What can I do as an actor to ramp this up a notch or two?
What are we looking forward to for the fourth installment of Hillbilly Horror Show?
Oh man, so Hillbilly Horror Show Volume 4, man, we really blew that one out. Cephas has apparently behind Lulu and my back been pen paling with Kim Jong-un. And so they have worked out a cultural exchange program, and Cephas will be packing his bags and headed to hang out at the palace in North Korea. And meanwhile, Kim he's gonna hop on over and hang out with me and Lulu at the trailer. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, especially when we get to Volume 5.
Is this like Hillbilly Horror Show meets the interview?
Funny enough, we shot this. We had all of this done and in the can and getting ready to launch before all the fluff with the interview even happened.
Wow.
all because I was sitting around and I can't remember how the conversation started, but I saw an article online on one of the news sites or something about how Kim Jong-un had basically gone missing. And I said something to Blue over Facebook. I said, yeah, Kim Jong-un's missing. He's hanging out at the trailer with Bo, Cephas, and Lulu. And he was like, dude, let's use that. We got to use this. And so he writes it into Volume 4 script, and the next thing you know, we've got Kim Jong-un in a mullet, and the Pyongyang mane is now the official hairstyle for all young men 12 years or older in the People's Republic of North Korea, and so we're going to see how that floats with the Supreme Leader. So. I don't know, every time one of our computers starts acting funny, we figure we've gotten hacked.
Hey, so in closing, tell my viewers how they can find you on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube.
Facebook.com/Bo Keister, that's Keister, and then @Bo Keister is Twitter. BK in the Berg, BURG, is my Instagram. And, you can always reach me through Hillbilly Horror Show, @Hillbill Horror, and then, of course, Hillbilly Horror Show on Facebook is always there. And then our website, hillbillyhorrorshow.com, and that has basically all the platforms that you can watch the show on. You can order, we've got cool merchandise. We've actually got the Pyongyang Mane T-shirts for sale. On there, we've got Hillbilly Horror Show koozies, all kinds of cool stuff, and I'll send you a couple of koozies. You got to keep beer cold, man.
You got it.
They can find us through basically every medium you can think of, and reach out to us. Hit us up, look us up on IMDb, and especially right now with Volume 4 out there. Look it up. If you're an Amazon subscriber or Amazon Prime subscriber, it's actually free to watch with your subscription. And then it's also available for rent that don't have a subscription through Amazon Prime, Google Play. You can catch some of the earlier episodes on IndieFlix and other various Roku channels. And I'm actually in the process of building a Hillbilly Horror Show Roku app. So that's going to be launching hopefully by December or 1st of January.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk to you right after this, but for this part of the video, Bo, thanks a lot, man. We'll be coming.
You are welcome.